Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. Today's video I think is going to be a really fun one. One of my friends over on Instagram named Emily, her Instagram handle is blushing bookworm. It's blushing_bookworm. I will of course leave her link down below, her Instagram page. She posted a reel that she titled July No Pan Left Behind with a bunch of her looks from July. You guys really should check out that reel because there's so many really gorgeous looks in them. But one of them in particular really caught my eye and I really want to recreate it. And I thought it would be really fun to just film a video on that and really highlight her beautiful look and try to recreate it. And it's also going to be with one of my favorite palettes, and I have a very exciting update. So last night I was going through all of my palettes and I was just kind of swatching some of my favorite shades, as I do, okay? Sometimes on a Friday night, it's just what you need to do. But as I was swatching my favorite shade in this palette, I hit pan in it, and I was kind of preparing for today's video thinking about using this one anyways, and I've been trying to hit pan in the shade Lavender Sky, and I did hit pan in it. It was a tiny little pan, but then once I was able to do kind of a brush swatch and I filmed a video of it, it is now like a pretty good sized pan. Do you guys see this? I'm so excited about it. I've been trying to hit pan in this shade for so long, even before I said that I was trying to hit pan in it in my eyeshadow project pan. Well, it's like a little mini project pan because this is the only one. So at the end of this video, I will pick a new shade in another palette that I'm trying to hit pan in and kind of replace this one with it. But I'm just so excited. I've been using this shade a lot and I've been kind of mixing it in with everyday looks. And even though this is a pretty colorful palette, you know, I really wanted to make it a little bit more wearable. So I've been using that shade a lot. So that was really exciting to hit pan in that, but I will be using this shade today. So that's gonna be like the featured palette. I do already have on my foundation, concealer, and powder. I will share with you all what that is, but I filmed a foundation review today, so I just already have that on. So I'm just going to build on that for today's look. So the look in specific from Emily is this one right here. I will pop it up on the screen. I screenshotted it from her reel, so definitely, like I said, go check out her reel because there's so many looks in it. I don't want to show them all on here because I want you guys to go and look at them on her page. So just check the description below. I'm going to have her page linked for you. So let me go ahead and tell you what's already on the skin so I don't forget. I did do a foundation review of this Revlon Illuminance foundation. I really like it, by the way. So if you're curious, I've now had it on for about 4 hours and this is how it looks. And then I have on the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer just on the under eyes. I didn't put any on the cheeks or anything. And then I set my under eyes only and also right around my nose with the CoverGirl Clean Fresh pressed powder. So that's what's on the skin right now. So I do want to use an eyeshadow primer. I'm going to use this one from CoverGirl. It's the Lid Lockup eyeshadow primer. Okay, so before I jump into the Pastel Dreams palette, I don't even think I mentioned the name of the palette. So if you're not familiar, this is the Give Me Glow Cosmetics Pastel Dreams palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. I have featured it quite a bit on my channel, but I'm really excited to have another video today on it. And yeah, I just really like this one. But yeah, I don't think I mentioned the name of this one earlier. But before I dip into that one, I do want to dip into this palette from Milani. This is one I've been using a lot lately, but I'm just going to dip into the lightest shade. I could also use a face powder right now, but I'm just going to dip into the shadow because I really like it and I feel like using an eyeshadow instead. But I just want to put this shade all over the lid just to give me a nice base for blending in the shadows. A lot of times with more colorful palettes, I don't really like to bring a super colorful shade up above the crease because I feel like it just makes it a lot less wearable. So like my number one tip to make a colorful look more wearable is to keep it from the crease and below and not bring it so close to your eyebrows. So that's why I like to use a shade like this first before using colorful shades. It just helps me to complete the look but not bring the colorful shades so high when there's not a neutral option in this palette. Okay, but let's dip into this palette and try to recreate Emily's look. I want to start out with the shade Pink Rain, which is the matte pink shade. It looks like she has this kind of all in the crease, but I can't tell if she used the pink or the peach. Ooh, maybe she used the peach shade. Okay, the more I look, and especially the screenshot with her eyes closed, I do feel like maybe she used the peach shade. So I'm actually going to start out with Twinkle Twinkle first, and then maybe I'll add a little bit of Pink Rain if the tone doesn't look exact, but I'm using a little bit smaller crease brush. The shade Twinkle Twinkle is actually the only one in the palette that I really ever have any problems with. sometimes it can just be a little bit patchy in the way that the color payoff looks, but for the most part, I'm able to make it work. And today it seems like it's working pretty well, but I have had a couple kind of off days with it. Okay, I'm getting the feeling that maybe she mixed the peach and the pink together because my crease right now just looks more peachy than hers. So I'm gonna pick up some of Pink Rain, the matte pink shade, and just add this. Yeah, I feel like that's what she did. Kind of a mixture of the two. And I'm just putting this in the crease, but again, I'm not bringing it so high up to the eyebrow, and it looks like she kept hers in the crease as well. I think we have slightly different eye shapes. It looks like her eyes are a bit bigger than mine. I have kind of closed off eyes, and so I've got to just be careful about the colors I bring up, or my eyes can just look a little bit closed off even more. But that's what I love about recreating a look, is that you can kind of tailor it to your eye shape and make these shades work for you. And especially even if you don't have this palette, this is just a really pretty look in general, and I feel like that will be really fun to go through your collection and look for the different shades that you might could recreate this with from other palettes in your collection. Okay, I feel like this pink is definitely a bit better. So I'm just gonna add a tiny little bit more pink on this eye. And then I'm gonna go back in with Twinkle Twinkle, the peach matte shade, just on top of the pink that I laid down, just again to kind of blend those two and make it more of a peachy pink. Okay, then next up I'm gonna go ahead and start out with the purple shades. So I'm gonna go in with La La Land. This is on a smaller brush than the previous one that I was using, but she's got this shade all on the outer portion of her lid, and then it looks like she kind of connected it with the peachy pink, so that's what I'm gonna do. Bring you guys in a little bit closer, so hopefully you can see the eye look a little bit better. It also looks like she kind of winged this out a little bit, which I really like. So of course I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay, I've got the purple built up like I wanted, so going back in with the brush I was just using, I'm gonna dip in between Pink Rain and Twinkle Twinkle, but I think I'm gonna pick up more of Pink Rain than Twinkle Twinkle, and I'm going to use this to blend the two of those together. Okay, and then it looks to me like she used Peach for the Stars, which is the shimmery peach shade, on the inner portion of her lid, and then maybe some Lavender Sky. I'm gonna use this as an excuse to keep using that shade because I just really love it, but it looks to me like that's what she used. So I'm going to do that. And I actually do think I'm gonna use some glitter glue before I put these on because I have already put on my foundation. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of the NYX glitter primer. The shimmers in this palette are a little bit more like a chunky shimmer in my experience, and so I do think I get some fallout with them. However, when I use this palette, I typically do the eyes first. So I feel like I don't pay attention so much to fallout then. So I'm not 100% sure. But I'm just gonna go ahead and lay the primer down just in case. Okay, then going in with Peach for the Stars, I'm going to put this on the inner portion of the lid. And then I'm gonna pick up Lavender Sky and then put this on kind of like the center to the outer portion. I think I brought mine out a little bit farther than her. That's okay. I especially wanted to recreate this look to dip back into the Lavender Sky shade because I have been trying to hit pan on it, but then of course, like I said, I did hit pan on it last night, so this was just super fun to go ahead and still film this one. I am really liking how this is looking so far. I don't know that I've ever done this color placement with the peach and the purple. I tend to always reach for the pink, so I really like that. Going back in with that first brush again that we used in this palette with the peach and the pink matte shades, I'm just blending out over top of the shimmers. And then I do want to pick up more of the shade La La Land, which again was the matte purple shade, and I want to build this up on the outer portion of the lid again because I really do like how she had the matte shade on the outer corner, but I just kind of pulled my shimmer out a little bit too far. So I want to just really intensify the purple shade. Okay, I'm really liking how this is looking so far. And then it seems like the last step is just to put the shade Rise and Shine, which is the shimmer yellow, on the inner corner. Ooh, I like that with this look. Okay, and then it looks to me like she brought the shade La La Land, the matte purple, on the lower lash line. So I'm gonna do that. I think she did that too. And then I think I'll put the peach kind of where the peach is on top, because it does look lighter towards the inner corner. But I pretty much have to put shadow on the lower lash line or my concealer will end up creasing, but it actually hasn't creased that bad with this combo. I put a very light layer of concealer on earlier, so today might be an exception to that, but typically I pretty much always have to put eyeshadow here or else it will crease. And then I'm gonna pick up more of a Twinkle Twinkle. I think this time I'm just gonna put the peach on the lower lash line and not the pink. And then to finish up the eye look, I'm just going to curl the lashes and add some mascara. And for mascara, I'm gonna use the Tower 28 mascara. Emily has super pretty long lashes, so I'm really going to build up the mascara to try and recreate the really gorgeous lashes that she has. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for the eye look, so let's go ahead and finish up the face makeup. I really love the blush that Emily has on too. It looks like a shimmery type pink sort of a blush, and I have this one from Milani that I've been meaning to use more in Bella Bellini. It's one of their baked blushes, so that's going to be kind of the focus of the face makeup, I think. But I do want to add a little bit of bronzer. This is the Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer from Too Faced. So I'm going to start by just going ahead and bronzing up the skin, and then we'll add the really pretty blush. I love how she did the pastel look with like the super bronzy skin. I love the way her complexion looks with the eye look. I just think it's a really cool like juxtaposition with something really bronzy, but then paired with something pastel. I tend to use a lighter complexion product kind of a look with the pastel palette, so I really just like how she paired the two together. She also has a really glowy base, and while my foundation is a little bit more dewy, I also want to go ahead and add this ColourPop Pretty Fresh setting spray because it will just help it be even more glowy. And I'm going to do that now before I add the blush and highlight, just to kind of amp it up even more. In my experience, the setting spray doesn't really help your makeup last a really long time, but what it's really good at is melting all of your products together and giving you that really fun, glowy sort of look. So I don't think this will mess with the wear of the foundation too much or really at all. So that's why I'm kind of going ahead and doing that, especially since I've already been wearing it for 4 hours. Okay, next up is blush. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this one from Milani. Again, this one's in the shade Bella Bellini. And it looks like Emily really focused this like on the apples of her cheeks. This is a very like highlighty blush, and I honestly haven't worn it a ton because it's a little bit intimidating for me. So this is a good way for me to make sure that I use it. I think that one of the blushes in this palette would actually go really well with this too, because this is a little bit like really highlighty and I want more pigment of a blush. So this is from the Sydney Grace blush palette called Luminous Light. I've got the light version. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this Love Struck shade. I think that this one might be a little bit more pigmented of like a blush versus just a highlight. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Kind of a mixture of the two that was really pretty. I kind of want to see those two swatched next to each other, so I'm just going to go ahead and swatch the two of those. So this is the Milani one. So here's the two of those compared. So you can see the one from Sydney Grace is just more pigmented as far as the blush color goes, and then the Milani one has a really pretty sheen to it as the highlight. They're both really glowy and really pretty, but they actually complement each other really well. I'm going to switch over to this brush from Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes. It's a little bit more densely packed than the e.l.f. blush brush I was using, and I think that it will help with this type of a formula. I've been thinking about filming an updated review on these brushes. I've now been using them for about 2 years, and I know that there was a lot of hype when they first came out, but I don't know like if anyone's interested in that now. So you guys will have to let me know if that's something that you want to see. I do have the full collection and I use them at least, I would say I use at least 3 of the brushes every single day, if not more. Okay, I'm loving this blush look. I am going to bring it over the nose just a little bit because I just have really been liking that. I feel like it just really makes everything more cohesive. And then going back with the e.l.f. brush into the Milani blush, I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that and put it kind of where I'd put a highlight. This is definitely a little bit more blushy than what Emily has, but I think what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more bronzer and see if that kind of tones it down and kind of evens out the look, because I think her look is a little bit more bronzy than mine, but I think her skin is also more bronzy than mine in general, so that could be why too. I have really fair skin, so sometimes recreating other people's looks doesn't exactly turn out the same on me, but we'll make it work. So I'm gonna pick up some of this bronzer from Milani. This is their Silky Matte Bronzer, and I have mine in the shade Sunlight, which is 01. So I'm just going to add this all over the perimeters of the face and just kind of bronze up the whole look a little bit more. I'm excited for the brows on this one because Emily does her brows much differently than I do mine, and it's because she's got really beautiful full brows. Mine are a little bit more thin, and I want to try and kind of do them like hers today. So I'm going to kind of do the more fluffy type of brow look that she has, which I think is going to be fun to try out. I think I have more blush on the left side, so I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more on the right side. And then other than that, I feel like I am happy with how it's looking so far. And then I think last step is gonna be the brows and then picking a really glossy lip like she has on. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the Milani blush as well to this side of my face. Okay, let's go ahead and do brows. I'm gonna start out with this e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, because I'm still trying to use this thing up, and I honestly think I could use it up today. It has the tiniest little bit left in it. I mean, this is all that's left. So I've really been trying to use it up. So what I'm gonna do first is just brush the brows up. And then I've been using the pencil to fill in the back half of the brow, or really like the back 3/4 of the brow. And then I use my NYX brow marker for the front half. But I'm gonna use the brow marker to create some more like hair-like strokes as far as the whole brow to make it a little bit more like Emily's, or try to. My brows aren't as full as hers, so I don't think I'll get the exact same look. Okay, I'm kind of scraping on the skin now with this brow product. So I think we're safe to call this one done, which is also really exciting considering I just told you guys about the pan and the new pan and the palette, and then now an empty brow pencil. I've been trying to use this up too. Okay, so then I'm gonna use the Lift and Snatch brow marker from NYX. I've got mine in the shade Ash Brown. I'm gonna try and use this to create the type of brow that Emily has. We'll see how this goes. I'm not a brow expert by any means. Okay, I think we're getting there. I'm gonna use the clear brow gel from Anastasia and try to kind of make them look a little bit more of like that laminated sort of a look. I don't know, mine just don't sit the same way, but I definitely think that they're more fluffy than they typically look, and that's what I was going for. So like I said, it's not gonna be, you know, an exact match, but we're just trying to recreate it in our own sort of a way. But my brow hairs just tend to grow a little bit sideways. They don't really grow up. This is kind of working. I think that the brow gel is really helping them to go straight up instead of just to the side. Okay, I'm not used to seeing myself with this type of a brow, but I kind of like it. I mean, they're kind of fun just to try it out. Emily definitely pulls these brows off better than I do, but I don't know, I kind of like it. Okay, and then lastly for the lips, it looks like she's got on kind of like a pinky sort of a lip. So I'm gonna start out with this lip liner from NYX. This one's in the shade Fierce Flirt. I think this one might be a little bit too light, so I'm gonna look for a deeper option. I think I'm gonna try this one from About Face. It might be a little bit too deep, but I'm gonna put a gloss on over top of it anyways. This one's in the shade Midnight Seduction. And I'm also filling in the lips with this lip liner too. I don't really have a gloss that is that shade, so I wanted to have the base down with a lip liner and then I'll add a gloss on top. Ooh, I kind of think this one will work. This is the Buxom gloss in the shade Dolly. Yeah, I think this one's pretty good. Mine's a little bit more cool tone than the lip that she has. I just don't think I have a color that's exactly like that, but that's okay. Okay, with my sponge, I'm just gonna go ahead and go over the cheeks just to make it a little bit more blended and a little bit less like clown cheeks, because I went a little bit overboard with the blush, but I do think now with the sponge it looks closer to what she has on. Okay, so this is the finished look. I do feel like it's pretty close to what Emily created, and I am happy with how it turned out. So you guys will have to let me know what you think down below. I also hope that you will go over to Instagram and check out Emily's page. She's got the most amazing looks, and I do not think you would regret following her and following along with all of her beautiful looks and all of her posts. She also has the prettiest swatches. I don't know how she does that. I've never been able to take such a good picture of swatches, especially with shimmer shades. They just look so good. So definitely go give her a follow and check out her page. Now that we're at the end of this video, I am officially going to roll this pan of eyeshadow out of the project. This is like my mini eyeshadow project pan if you missed it. I just felt like I wanted to focus on one shade at a time, and then when I reach my goal on that shade, I will pick another one in my collection. I would really love to have at least one pan in all of my palettes. The next eyeshadow that I'm going to work on comes from the Viseart Kashmiri palette. I don't know the likelihood of actually hitting pan on this, but I do want to see a pretty good dip in this one. It is this really pretty purple kind of, it's almost like a taupey purple. I really love this shade, and I just want to encourage myself to use it more because it's so pretty. So I'm replacing a purple shimmer with another purple shimmer. But this one is a lot more of like a neutral purple. It's got a hint of silver in it, but it's kind of just like a purple taupe shade. I really love this one. So this is going to be my next eyeshadow that I try to hit pan on. And as you can see, this palette is pretty brand new. I got this in the beginning of this year, but these shadows are so pigmented, and I also have a lot of palettes in my collection, so I definitely am nowhere near hitting pan on this shade like I was in the Give Me Glow palette, but that's okay. I just want to enjoy this exact shadow. And so sometimes when I wanted to reach for this one recently, I made myself reach for the other purple because I was trying to hit pan in it. So I really just want to let myself use this as much as possible. And then if I ever get tired of using it, I'll roll it out and pick another one. But I'm also just excited to reach for this palette more because it's a real favorite of mine. So that's gonna be the new eyeshadow for the project pan. But since we picked that, that's now the end of this video. I don't really have anything else for you in this one. So thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.